Hey guys, all right, we're back. So I know I said I wasn't going to do it all on video today, but I figured what the hey, you might be wanting to see the finished product. So I've currently got the holster over there in my little press right there. I'm going to take it out, bring it over here, and show you what it looks like when it first comes out the press. So when they go grab it. See how we did. So this is the press over here, and that's where your holster actually gets pressed out. So this is how it looks once it comes out. You guys already saw me do all that blocking and then sight channel. I explained all that, the channel for the light. That was one thing you didn't see me do. That was for the other side of the hood mechanism, which I'm actually going to show you now. But let's get it out of here and let's mark it off. Let's cut it and let's finish it up, shall we? So yes, it's still kind of hot, so that's why I'm wearing these gloves. So let's break it open. Get our mold out of there. Make sure we get everything out. A couple pieces got left behind, but that's okay. We're gonna take our trusty pick here. Let me get it down here to where you guys can see. And we're gonna take it out of there so y'all can see. Got a seat here. All right, let's get this stuff out of here so we can get on to the good part. Sometimes these guys get stuck in there. That's okay. We'll pick them out. There's this guy right here. I'll remember that guy. Get him out of there. And the other piece for the hood. Let's see if we can't dig it out of there. Sometimes they're pretty good. We'll just take and kind of flex it a little bit. And it should start to come out. Yeah, I think it did. Nope, not quite. This one's in there pretty good. Well, shoot. Can't get it out of there. Huh. Hadn't intended on this taking so long to get out. Bear with me. Looks like it wants to come. It's just not yet. This happens because I got a lot of pressure on it on the press, which is good because that means I got the definition that I was looking for. Press on it from a different angle here. There it goes. It's starting to come. All right, got her out of there. Set our mold aside. All right, so then you've got this. So now what we do, we take our white fabric pen, and I use these because they're easy. It's easy to clean off the marks once I'm done. So what we'll do is we'll trace out what we want our final design to look like. Now, when I'm doing a light bearing holster, on the very end of the light here, I want the holster to come around the bezel somewhat, the very outer edge of the light, because you don't want to be carrying in something like if it's not covered at all and then bump something, because when you make a light bearing holster, pretty much all of your retention comes from the light area. And if something bumps into it, like yourself, you sit down or bump it, whatever, you can bump it out of retention. So you want this to be covered. And again, this is something I've learned over time. And being is that this is an outside the waistband holster, I'm gonna go ahead and have the front wrap around the muzzle of the gun as well to a certain extent. I always want a little bit more coverage on an outside the waistband open carry style holster, because it's out in the open, subjected to elements or things you might run into or people or whatever. So just kind of keep that in mind on this type of holster. So anyway, I'm going to come on a straight line down, and then we're going to mark off for our sweat guard back here, just clearing the pivot point for the hood mechanism, which I will show you guys here in just a sec. I'm gonna come on down. This is where, you know, we're gonna grab it, so we want to give ourselves plenty of, you know, you want to be able to get a finger in there to grab it, but only a finger. You don't want room for something to be able to get in there and reach the trigger. So we're gonna come on down, and I typically will leave this in this stage a little bit bigger because I can always take more off. I can't add more to it. I can in the finishing phase when I'm sanding and all that good stuff, I can take a little bit out, but I can't put anything back. So just, you know, keep that in mind. You can't add material. You can only take it away. So give yourself a little bit of room for error. And we're going to come down here. Let's see, this is where our adjustable retention is going to be, and I will take some of the spacers and kind of get an idea of how much or how little I want it to be. And again, in this area, you can leave yourself a little bit of extra room because, like I said, you can always take more away, but you cannot add it. So, like I said in the last video, take your time and be patient, okay? So I'm gonna come up here. This is, like I said, this is a duty holster. It's gonna come, the end is gonna come all the way to the end of the slide, all the way down to the end. Actually, we're gonna come just a little bit further over because the sights are right there. I can see the impression. So we're gonna come all the way to about right there. Now I'll go ahead and cut it out. Yes, I only marked one side for now because I do it one side at a time. The other side, well, on this particular holster, both sides, the cut will be the same on both sides versus, you know, this guy again, this is the back, you know, it comes way up to cover the slide. That's called the sweat guard. This can be, you know, shorter, a little bit taller. This is pretty much a full sweat guard. A half would be somewhere down in this range. This one here is going to be the same on both sides. Both sides will be identical, so I only need to mark one side and cut one side. That mark is a little bit off. And again, take your time. These are just rough marks for now. This is not finished. This is going to get us close when we get finished in the sanding portion. So let's see, can we get the, let's see if I can rotate this guy. Oops, sorry guys. Let's see, does this rotate? Yeah. Y'all can see the cutting out of the holster. Let's get on the scroll saw over here, which is my favorite tool. Definitely a must if you're going to get into holster making. And let's cut it out. Sorry, it's going to shake, be kind of loud for a second, so bear with me. Drop you there. Okay. And you'll notice that I still have some lines showing. I left some of my lines, and that's to give me room to sand. I'm gonna get my Dremel out now, and I'm gonna sand these edges down. We're gonna go into finishing. I'm gonna round some of this off. I'm gonna sand a bunch of the edges. We're gonna finish it off and get closer to final product. So let's get the Dremel here. Sorry, again, it's gonna be kind of loud and whatnot. We'll try to not do any talking so you can just kind of see. I'll sand a little bit and I'll show you, okay? What I'm going to do here is I'm going to hold these two together so when I sand it that both edges are the same. Okay, not one's longer or shorter than the other. Okay, turn this off for a second. I'm going to go behind us here and I'm going to hit the belt sander real quick to get the bottom of it. I don't know if you guys can see that or not. I'm also going to take it down some because I went a little too much there, but that's okay because I've got plenty of material here that I can remove. See here, man, I'm just taking it back to the scroll saw. And let's see, because that's a little wide, and our spacers are only, you know, these are adjustable retention spacers, so they're, you know, we can bring it in a little bit. Actually, that's probably pretty good right there. We need to sand it down a little bit more right here, but we're going to bring it down. Then I'm going to end up, I'm probably going to make this edge more of an angle to match this cut up here. So let's do that. Consistency on those. The top. Get that knocked down. Knock it off just a little bit. Now let's go ahead and take care of this guy. Bring it down. bring it in here. One of these days I'm gonna get some sort of dust control system going on in here because this stuff creates a ton of dust. All right, so a little more sanding here. Let's hit the front. We're gonna sand out this a little bit on the inside, so let's do that. Taking my time. Some of that flashing. You'll have some flashing and stuff in there from the scroll saw. Okay, so that's pretty much done for the 8. So I started off, this is a 80 grit drum, and then I also use 80 grit on the belt sander to take it down quickly. Now what I'll do is I will put a 120 grit wheel on, flap wheel, and wheel will finish it down a little further. This is pretty much as far as I go with the sanding. I do have another ladder, like a Scotch-Brite wheel, and I'll show you guys that one too to buff it up a little more. Let's hit it with this one. And again, I'm just taking my time. Just bearing down on it, knocking down all the rough spots, looking for nice consistent edges. pretty good there on the sanding. Now let's take our mold out. Let's take off all the blocking so we can check for fit. We're going to set the retention, or not set the retention, but we're going to drill the holes for the retention screws and spacers. Let's get all this tape off of here. Set that guy over there. Yeah, you do end up with a lot of just kind of, I guess, wasted tape. Ah. Take this guy off. Get my plates off, all the blocking. Sometimes I get lucky and it all just comes all off all at once. Okay, I'm not going to peel all the tape now, I can do that later. Okay, so let's put it in there. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to drill the holes for the retention. I'm actually going to borrow some from a previous holster I made for myself. At this point, I have a pretty good rotation of different holsters. A lot of it is to be able to show you guys some of the offerings that we have, what we can't do. I haven't come across a whole lot that I couldn't do just yet. I mean, I like to try just about everything, because each one I make that I haven't made before is just more. I chalk it up to more experience, you know, and it leads to a better product and more offerings for more people. So, and that's I guess that's really the goal, you know. Anyway, so let's get these guys out. Only going to need 2 for this guy. Taking these off the my Glock 17 holster. Okay. So now, I'm going to drill the holes for the retention. Actually, hold on just a second, guys. Let me hit it real quick on the belt sander real quick. Sorry, needed a tad more straightening out down there, and I'll come back and buff that and do this one. This is one for me, so. Okay. Now, we'll mark out our holes. So like I said, this one's only going to need 2. 2 retention screws, and we're going to put them down here by the light, sort of close together, about right there. Let's see that again, about right there. And the other one just straight over from it. Just dropped it. Now, let's drill those out. Okay. And actually, before we get the retention going on, well, we can go ahead. No, let me go ahead and show you guys. This is the retention hood. So let me go ahead and drill those out real quick. Those little holes in that blocking I use make it easy to see where you need to drill, but I still like to mark the holes. Again, part of just taking your time. And then I'm going to drill it out in the center there. Okay. What I'll do is I'll go ahead and get this side mounted up, and I'll show you guys what this is and how it works and all that good stuff here in just a sec. Let me get it on there. This isn't something that most of you are probably going to want or need. It's just something I wanted to make for myself, and I figured I'd do a video for it, so why not? Get these screws in there. Oops, it's tight. Hold on. Got these a little tight. Give myself a little wiggle room. Those started, tighten them down. Okay, there's that. I'm going to mark the hole for where the hood comes across to pivot on. That's right there. Give me a mark, drill it out. Hope I'm staying on camera here. It looks like I am. This guy in. That guy. Get the screw. Down. How do we do? Yep, and it clears. So this is what you would call a level 2 duty holster. Okay, now let's set the retention. A little bit of flashing in there that I didn't get all the way. Got it out of there. So set these guys in there. Put these spacers on, rubber spacers. Got a little close to the edge, but that's all right. Again, it's just for me. Put the finishing washers on there. They just look kind of nice to finish it off. Started. Well, it wants to be a pain. Don't know why. Screw just a little booger on it. Put this guy in there. Now we will put this in, and we're going to check. We're going to tighten it down till we like it, And guys, a lot of times, you know, when you order a holster from me, I'm gonna set it. You may not like where I set it at, so please, when you get it, check your retention, see how you like it. And you know, I don't ever use any kind of Loctite or anything, because that way you guys can kind of adjust things the way you like it. I mean, it's in there pretty good, not rattling. And then also, let's go ahead and explain the hood. When that on there, the gun is not coming out. That's the purpose of that guy. Put off, boom. Let's go ahead and throw it on the actual firearm so you guys can see. Let me take this off of here, put it on the actual firearm. Oops, went a little too far with that. Okay. Magazine on there. Just a habit, sorry. Put the light back on. Let's see how she fits. Okay, a little loose. Let's tighten it down. That right there is probably pretty good. Let's see. Go a little tighter. Just a smidge. Yes, I said smidge. And there you have it. It's a finished Glock Gen 5 Glock 19 duty level 2 duty holster that I will probably hardly ever use, but I wanted to make one for myself either way. So there you have it. Thanks for watching, guys.